Hello, friends. How are you doing in these wild times? Well, I hope to just distract you and take you on a tiny adventure because I found myself somewhere where the sun shines and there's rainbows and there's whales and dolphins and mermaids. You guessed it, Byron Bay. That is not the star of the show today. No, and I will not be rubbing that in. The star of the show today is someone who's so full of heartwarming soul and just positive energy. You probably know her music because it's been stuck in your head going over and over and over again like the best kind of earworm. Please welcome to the build stage, electropop artist Wafia.
Hey, Lady Cakes. How
Hi,
are ya?
good. How are you?
I'm so good. So, are you in LA?
I am, yes.
Yeah. What's the time there?
It is 5? Yes.
Yeah. And how are you going with like Corona and COVID and like how are you coping over there?
I mean, it's pretty, it's getting increasingly worse here, as I'm sure you know. Like, America's just done an absolute terrible job of this. But I heard you're in Byron, and I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous right now.
I know it's I don't want to rub it in, but it's pretty bloody beautiful here right now. It's I feel very #blessed to be here. So I really can't complain. And the fact that I get to speak to you in Byron, this is quite a fun little situation. But you've been very busy during lockdown because you've just released some new music. Hurricane.
Yeah.
So it's off your EP that's launching on August 21st, called Good Things. So tell me a bit about Hurricane. I know it's about a breakup, but give me the lowdown.
A hurricane to me is essentially like a song for my friends that would there to lift me up after that breakup. So, like, my favorite songs, honestly, are the songs about friendship. And so this just had to be for them. It's, like, I'm at my worst in a breakup. Like, my family, like, are so there for me, and so are my friends. And when you're in it, you really think that you're like the worst possible person to be around. But I had a friend of mine tell me that she would do it a million times for me. And I thought about it like I would do the same for her. And so I just loved that. And like, yeah, this song is for them.
Oh, that's so sweet. And the other one off the EP as well, which is Pick Me, which is just, oh, it's so good. And the video clip that you shot for that was probably a little unplanned to do it like that, right?
Definitely.
How did that go down?
Well, for Pick Me, it was like we'd had all these music videos in mind, and obviously LA had just gone into shutdown, so it was like abandon that. And then I sort of had to reassess like what is the song about, and I realized like in quarantine I was FaceTiming all my friends. I was like, that's it. That's the music video. Let's just do that.
Talk about low budget. Mic drop, walk away, save all your money.
Right.
And what else can we expect off the EP?
The EP to me is like about, in part, this breakup, but really the overall thing about it is about how there's been this constant theme in my life of taking bad things and turning them into good. And that was sort of like how I went into this breakup, how I came out of it. And I just really wanted to focus on the good, like not the bad. And it really isn't about the other person in this breakup. It's about me, and it's about me coming out of it great. Even when you think that you won't. So I really wanted to have a positive message to it, and it to just overall be fun.
Oh, so yeah, making breakups fun. That's what Wafia does really well. But I think something that is also super cool is your family history, right? You've pretty much been everywhere. You were born in the Netherlands, and then you moved around to Canada and New Zealand and spots in Australia, to a Syrian mum and an Iraqi dad. What kind of effect, obviously it's affected your music, your family history, but have you really realized your background and how it is shaping your music?
I think it more shapes who I am as a person, and that in turn shapes my artistry. It's never something that I deliberately go into a song being like, I need to write this part in Arabic or whatever it is. I feel like there are other artists that will do that much better than I will. I just really enjoy telling my own personal stories, and I think that like it's not just, I shouldn't just write songs about where like my culture or whatever. I need to write these songs about me, because that makes me a three-dimensional person. And so that's sort of been my approach, my personal approach to it. And yeah, I just enjoy it more. I really don't know how to tell a story that isn't like honest. And I think storytelling is a big part of Arab culture. And yeah, my dad will joke that like all this moving around made me perfect for being a touring musician, and he's definitely not wrong.
That's so true. Sometimes the parents are right. What can you say?
Yeah.
And biochemistry, though, you did study biochemistry, which sounded absolutely awful. Why was it so awful? I mean, I know that I would hate biochemistry, but why was it such a shitty time?
Well, it was biomedicine, and it was like it wasn't that terrible, honestly. It was just that I just got distracted by music. I really enjoyed it in the first year, but by second and third year I started playing more guitar, and I honestly was going to go into medicine. I really thought that like music was not really a viable option, and it wasn't until my dad said to me like, actually I think you should do music, because I think you might regret it if you don't give it a shot. And so that was really big of him. And I thought that, you know, he wouldn't have said that to me if he didn't at least see something in me. He's not the kind of person to like indulge me in giving me like, I was never like given too much, like I was given praise, but never like, you're so special, you're one of a kind, you know. So for him to say that, it meant a lot. And especially because no one in my family back in the Middle East has ever done music, and it's definitely not a sort of career choice that a lot of Arabs want for their children. So
totally. And when you were younger, did you go to music festivals growing up? Because you got some banging tracks there that are just made for festivals, like Bodies, Better Not, Hurts, like that is just made for the stage. Did you grow up going to any music festivals?
Not really. My first music festival I went to was Splendor in the Grass. I was 17, and I remember they accidentally gave me an 18 plus wristband. And I remember being like, this is crazy. And I saw Kanye, I saw Coldplay, I saw Florence and the Machine, Gautier, and I had like a mentor that like was with me. She was much older, and she was just like, you have to come to this festival. She's the one that got me in. And that was really my first exposure to like music that was outside of like the Spice Girls and Britney Spears. And yeah, like I feel like I was in my own little pop bubble, and then like Splendor in the Grass sort of changed that completely. No, I didn't really go to festivals growing up until that moment, and then I was hooked.
Yeah, and I mean, now you've played at Lollapalooza and MoMA and Coachella, and you're just ticking them off left, right, and center. Have you found your stage groove? Like, is that something hard to work out?
Definitely. I think the hardest part for me is like finding the right people to surround myself with on tour. And I definitely feel like I found my combination now. Like I'm really proud of my band, and obviously it's so sad that we can't tour right now. But the guys are just like the absolute best at what they do. I think so. And and also like we get along really well off stage. So it just makes for a really great combination.
And you've had some amazing collabs as well. Like obviously Taku, but Ben Abraham, Japanese Wallpaper, Louis the Child, the list goes on and on. But who's been the most instrumental in guiding you and why?
In terms of those collaborations, you mean?
Yeah.
I would have to go back to Taku. Like really, he was one of the first people, along with my friend Jack, who goes by Throbbins, who's also an Australian musician. Like they were some of the first people to really believe in me, especially Taku. He didn't have much to believe in me for. Like, I didn't have like a lot of music, but we met, and he just sort of, we got along really quickly. I think I reminded him of his sister is what he'll say. But essentially, like, we just toured for a really, like, for, I want to say, a year or two, just on the back of our friendship. And having his co-sign so early on, and then having his involvement in my very first single and all that, was just like a game changer. And I don't know that I would have the career I do if it wasn't for his belief and trust in me.
That's so nice to have a little buddy to kind of help you through. But you've also had some pretty banging shout outs. Kylie Jenner, Pharrell, Jayden Smith, and most recently, of course, Elton John. Oh my God. So, like, what happens when you get a shout out from someone like that?
It's pretty, like, it's almost hard to believe, because you, like, it's happening all on your phone, and you're like, I don't know you, and this is so sick. I don't know who showed you my music, but I'm thankful. So it's definitely like crazy. Like, I definitely, especially with the Elton John one, because that happened most recently, I kept playing that back and like, he's saying my name. Like, and that's also like one of the people that my parents know. So like, to call my mom on the phone, I'm like, this guy, like, he goes by Elton John. Mom's like, oh, Elton John, I know him. So like, for him, like, that's the kind of person who's transcended like time and culture, and like, and like, even my Arab speaking parents can understand when I'm like, Elton John said my music was good. So that was definitely crazy.
Really, really resonates and hits home when your parents, they get it. It's like something like a switch goes off.
Totally.
Oh, Rocket Man! Oh, Rocket Man and our daughter, yeah. And it's not just about breakups that you write about. Obviously, you're really finding your voice, especially in something like Bodies, where you brought up the topics of the Syrian refugee crisis. There's a bigger message to your songs. Do you think is it difficult to write about those kind of topics because you need to be so spot on with what you're saying? It's just really important, I guess, the wording and the messaging, because you're going to have to hear it over and over again, but you want it to be as accurate and the perfect representation of yourself.
I think in that song in particular, it was really important to me to make it almost so accessible, and just to not make it pseudo-intellectual any kind of way, not make it this like heaviness, because that's almost expected. And when something is expected of me, I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I wanted it to be light, and so that I could put it out there. The person who like maybe doesn't like know about it could listen to the song and be like, what's this song even about? Get curious and then find out. And I think I just wanted to create a really easy entry point for people to like understand about what was going on in Syria. Like, my song by no means explains the whole crisis or anything like that. It was more about humanizing other people. And I think like that to me is the essence of the song and what I wanted the takeaway to be.
What do you think you can do? What's the kind of aim with using your platform? What do you think you can create change? And if you can, that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself as well.
I definitely I can only do what I can do and what I'm comfortable with. I think I'm not trying to be the representation for all Arab people by no means. I'm not trying to first of all, we're not monolithic like that, you know? So for me, it's just important to just be my authentic self, and whatever happens from that is a really awesome byproduct of me doing the thing that fulfills me the most in life. And that's really it.
Yeah, awesome. And are we going to see you back in Australia at any stage? God,
When you open up the borders, please. I want to come back. I really do. I miss my family in Brisbane so much. I miss the beaches. I miss Byron Bay. But yeah, it's just this is just where I'm stuck. right now.
Oh, you can't. So you can't come home.
I technically can because I'm a resident in Australia, but the difficult part is coming back to America. So forfeiting the opportunity that I have here is difficult.
Yeah.
And then also, I if I'm being completely honest, my mental health would really suffer if I just was like in Brisbane for an extended period of time with no idea of when I would leave. At least here I have my routine and I have my things. In Brisbane, I don't really have many friends. I don't really have that community outside of my family and maybe just one friend. So this is just where I need to be right now.
Write it out, girlfriend. Write it out. Well, it's been so nice chatting to you, and I just cannot wait to see what all the good stuff that comes. And if you're watching at home, make sure you go and check out Hurricane because it is mwah,
Thank
mwah,
you.
mwah, mwah. Thanks for chatting, Wafia. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you so much.
Peace out.